And after 8 games on the road against teams in the American League East, the Royals begin a 6-game homestand against teams from the American League West. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. Ryan Lefevre with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White, and it's good to be home. It's good to play the Mariners again, although the Mariners have to be shocked to see the Royals' record now, because when Seattle was in town here in May, the Royals were at the top of their game.
Well, they sure were, Ryan, and coming off a real good spring training and get off to an 18-11 start, it's really a shame the way things have happened for the Royals since that point. But when you look at what they had to go through to get to 18-11, it was a good pitching, good defense, and good hitting, but now things have changed.
And since that 2-game sweep over Seattle here in May, the Royals are 30 games below 500. The Mariners continue to win. They're really not in the race right now, but they have one of the best and most creative hitters in baseball.
Well, I think you said it right, best and creative. He hits the ball all over the ballpark. He's hard to defense. He loves to play at Kauffman Stadium. He's got base hits in 22 of his last 23 games here at Kauffman Stadium.
And with the struggling offense, they're going to get a bat and a glove back from the DL tonight.
Well, I tell you, when the offense is struggling, you want to get that bat back, and he's got a big bat for the Mariners, and if he's swinging the bat well, he can really increase their run production, which has been down.
Adrian Beltre coming back from his 2nd shoulder surgery since the offseason. And they'll be facing Luke Hochevar, who's trying to shake off his last start in Baltimore, and Luke can look back to his only start against the Seattle Mariners. That was last year, and one of the best starts of his 2008 season. Back to Kauffman Stadium after this. Tossed salads, inventive sandwiches, and savory breakfast items. Panera Bread, where every detail matters. Royal starters should feel pretty good when they take the mound tonight and see the Mariners in their road grays, because in the last 9 games Seattle has been here, the Royals have won 8, and the starters have led the way with a 7-0 record, an excellent ERA, and a great strikeout to walk ratio, better than 4-1. And Luke Hochaver will feel pretty good when he takes them out against Seattle. Last year had one of his best starts of 2008, allowing just 1 run, 5 hits in 7 innings. Facing the Mariners tonight, here's the Kia scouting report. Frank, what does he need to do?
Well, Ryan Luke needs to come out tonight and establish his fastball. If he establishes his fastball with movement over the plate and have good use of his slider and his change, going along with his curveball, he'll be okay tonight.
Here's a lineup that he's going to face tonight. We will not see, at least in the starting lineup, former Royal Mike Sweeney, but we will see the league's leading hitter in Ichiro Suzuki. Russell Brannon's been a good find for the Mariners. He has 24 home runs. One of their top prospects is up, and outfielder Michael Saunders. And the Mariners just picked up Jack Wilson in a trade with the Pirates. And of course, we're going to see a future Hall of Famer, Ken Griffey Jr., who's going to be the designated hitter tonight with his 622 home runs. That's 5th best all time in the major leagues. The first pitch is next. HD is free with digital cable. And on yet another mild Kansas City summer night, we go out to right field and check in with Joel Goldberg.
And interesting to note that each time it seems like we come back to the ballpark, there have been different changes. A few homestands ago, this used to be dirt, and they poured some concrete so fans could stand up here and not get muddy when the fountains blew over here. Now, since we've been gone, they've added tables and chairs, and folks can actually come up here, and Rivals will send some people out here with food and a chance to eat. So it's open seating. People can come up here. Folks over here are eating hot dogs and hamburgers and enjoying a beautiful night. Down there, I saw a guy in a Tampa Bay Rays hat. Guess he missed the last series, but either way, beautiful up here with the fountains and a nice perspective and a chance to sit down and enjoy a little food as well, guys.
All right, thank you, Joel. There's Don Wakamatsu, the longtime Major League coach in his first year with the Mariners, and they've had a nice turnaround as Seattle last year had 101 losses, becoming the first team in Major League history to have at least 100 losses with a payroll of over $100 million. And the Mariners for most of this year have been hanging in there in the American League West, but starting to fall back, and they come in tonight 10 games back of division leading Los Angeles. Luke Hochevar trying to put his last start behind him. He allowed 7 runs, 11 hits, and 6 innings on Thursday at Baltimore, and got off to a decent start. He had allowed just 2 runs in the first 4 innings, getting around a 2-run home run, then retired 7 straight. But the Orioles with 4 2-out runs in the 5th, 2 more in the 6th, and that was it for Hochevar. It'll be John Gibbons as acting manager tonight as Trey Hillman continues to spend time with his family back in Texas. We hope to see Trey back here tomorrow. So bench coach John Gibbons becomes manager, and Eddie Rodriguez becomes bench coach. And here's Ichiro Suzuki, who is working on a 9th consecutive 200 hit season. He is at 155 hits at the moment, as Hochevar misses outside, leading the league with a .364 batting average, as Joe Mauer continues to parachute back to earth after that amazing start. After spending the year on the disabled list, or the first month of the year on the disabled list, and Suzuki corks it into the right field corner, and it's off the foul pole. You can go an entire season, maybe 2 or 3 seasons, and not see a hitter hit the screen on the foul pole, and now we've seen it happen twice in the last 5 games.
Well, one down the left field line, Ryan, and then this one down the right field line. No, both by left-handed hitters also, so that makes it even more strange to see. You know, he kind of leaves his body early, and if you leave the ball in the inner half, he can really turn on the ball, and he did it right there. Normally he's slapping the ball between third and short on the ground, but it just went right into his swing.
So Suzuki's 156th hit of the year is his 7th home run, and now a 24 home run hitter. And Russell Branyan, 1 ball, 1 strike. Branyan is 6th in the American League with 24 homers. And he turns around on that one, but pulls it well foul into the upper deck. Beautiful night in Kansas City. Good night to be at the ballpark. 87 degrees at first pitch. We started at 7:11. Time and temp brought to you by the parking spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The parking spot at KCI. Good bounce back for Luke after giving up the home run. Strikes out Russell Branyan. So 1 away in the first inning. And here's how the Royals will defend the Mariners tonight. An outfield of DeJesus, Bloomquist, and Tien. On the infield, Alex Gordon back at third with Betancourt, the former Mariner, Cayaspo and Butler on the right side. And actually, Brian Pena will be behind the plate for Luke Hochevar. And it's 0-1 on Jose Lopez. Lopez has hit in 5 straight games. Didn't have a very good swing there. It's 0-2, and having an okay year, hitting at .278 with 15 home runs, but he's a hot hitter at the moment, and it coincides with Don Wakamatsu making him the number 3 hitter. And a long run in for Alex, who is playing in almost shallow left field, and bare hands to get Lopez 2 down.
Well, raw third basemen do play deep, Ryan, and they make this is a routine ground ball to third base, but as deep as they play, you think of filling a bunt halfway into home plate, but here he's filling a bunt almost at third in the bunt situation, barehanded right by the third base bag. So it tells me they probably need to come in a little bit, because those plays are pretty difficult for a third baseman to make.
And now Ken Griffey Jr. batting at just .220. Knocks the mask right off Pena's face. But luckily for Brian, his face stayed on his head. You know, we've got kids here tonight.
That's a good wake up call right there. You sitting down thinking that, okay, I'm going to get into this game, and all of a sudden whack right in the middle of the face right there. And Brian just smiles about it. He's ready now. It always reminds you of a player that anything can happen. But you can't get ready for that short foul ball.
622 home runs. Hard to believe this is his 21st season in the big leagues. It seems like just yesterday the 19-year-old made the Mariners in 1989.
I was talking to him in the clubhouse earlier, Ryan. He really is a jokester. He really has a great time. He was walking around carrying Ichiro Suzuki through the clubhouse, and they were just having fun. And I asked him, we were talking about outfielders and their throwing, and we're talking about taking infield, and he was saying, well, infield is overrated. You know, I said, well, maybe for you. I said, but for most people, nobody threw the ball like you threw the ball, as accurate as you did. And I said, I saw you as a rookie. You didn't even stretch. You just came right out and sprinted to center field. So I think guys when you talk to him, he's, oh, maybe you're right. They forget how good they really were.
Well, Hochevar shakes off the Suzuki home run, gets the next 3 with 2 strikeouts. Lineup presented by M&I Bank. DeJesus, Bloomquist, Butler, Tian Cayaspo, Brian Pena getting another start. So Miguel Oliva will be the DH with Alex Gordon hitting 8th and the former Mariner Yunievsky Betancourt batting 9th. Facing left-hander Ryan Roland Smith. Here's the Kia scouting report.
Well, Roland Smith, Ryan, his sliders is out pitch. He can also be tough on right-handed hitters. Left-handers do hit better on him, about 294 average, because he has a hard time getting that slider to the outer half of the plate.
Ball 1 on to Jesus. David batted .286 in Baltimore and Tampa Bay, and slowly adding points to his overall batting average. Also had a home run on the trip. 1 ball, 1 strike. Royals have faced Ryan Roland Smith 5 times before tonight. Only one of those appearances was a start, so I haven't seen a whole lot of him. And DeJesus will go down to first base with nobody out. Painful for David, but a good start for the Royals.
Well, like I say, it's a hard time getting that ball away. That fastball just started up and in and stayed in. That's one where David's got to hit the dirt and let the ball go by. You know, he just kind of froze, and luckily he just spun the right direction.
And now another former Mariner, Willie Bloomquist. Willie had 2 different road trips. In Baltimore, he went 7 for 13. He was excellent against the Orioles, but in Tampa Bay, 1 for 17.
Well, he kind of went from hitting line drive after line drive to just wasn't squaring the ball up in Tampa Bay. A lot of pop-ups and a lot of weak swings off the end of the bat. So almost like he just wasn't picking the ball up out of the pitcher's hand.
Chased the pitch out of the zone there and is down 1 ball, 2 strikes. In the Baltimore series, in Game 1, set a new career high for stolen bases. In Game 2, a new career high for home runs. And in Game 3 for plate appearances. So as he continues to play at a much higher rate than he did when he was in Seattle, the question will keep coming up: is Willie Bloomquist wearing down, and does he have what it takes to make it through a full season as a regular?
Well, you have to think about that, since that's something he's never done before, and he's been up to 280 a couple times and fallen back, and then he's gotten hot again and gotten back up there. But the later the season goes, the tougher it goes. The few off days you get later in the season, that all take its toll. But I think one thing he's proven to himself is that, you know, his playing time has increased, his at bats have increased, and his numbers have gone along with that. So even if he's not at that everyday status, he could be pretty comfortable being a 4 out of 7 day player, because he's proven he can do that.
Full count from Ryan Roland Smith after DeJesus was hit by a pitch.
Now, from a physical standpoint with Willie, Ryan, you have to look at, okay, if he plays second base all year, how much more physically demanding is that than if he's playing the outfield in all 3 outfield positions? So you go from the infield, where you're taking a series of a lot of quick short steps, to the outfield where you're taking long strides. So those 2 combinations together will wear your body down also.
Well, which thing do you think would be better for him? The more of the standing around and in the outfield, or the constant movement on the infield?
I think you're better off. I think stamina-wise, as an infielder, you're a lot better off than you are as an outfielder, because you're not in that all-out sprint as they are. Because you're just taking a whole bunch. You can take a series of quick short steps and the ball can be gone. Where these guys, they got to cover a lot of ground in the alleys, and then especially if you're a speed guy too, and you have to steal bases and go down the baseline at a certain speed. So that tends to wear on you as the season goes.
Ryan Roland Smith has just given the Royals a couple of base runners. He hits DeJesus with a pitch and now walks Bloomquist, so 2 on and nobody out for Billy Butler. Seattle defensively, the rookie Michael Saunders in left with Franklin Gutierrez and 8-time Gold Glove winner Ichiro Suzuki. Adrian Beltre back after shoulder surgery with Jack Wilson, Jose Lopez, and Russell Branyan. And Kenji Jojima behind the plate for Ryan Roland Smith. Billy Butler, similar to Willie Bloomquist, had a road trip in 2 different segments. A successful one in Baltimore. He had 5 RBIs against the Orioles, but just 1 RBI against Tampa Bay, which I'm sure was frustrating to him with all the friends and family that came to watch him in person at Tropicana Field. He drives that into deep right. Suzuki with no play, and it's off the top of the wall. DeJesus will score. Bloomquist going to be held at third, and the Royals take a tie into the bottom of the first inning on Butler's 49th RBI of the year.
Ryan, you go back to Tampa Bay yesterday. Billy drove 2 balls, one against the right field wall that was caught, one straightaway center that was caught. And this is what he's been doing very well right here, getting that ball up out over the plate, staying behind it, and really just driving that ball. And that's what he did in this ballpark. You have to drive the ball here to get it over the head of Ichiro Suzuki.
And just missed a 3-run home run to the opposite field. The Mariners played it well, getting it back to the infield. And Dave Owen had to hold Bloomquist at third base. Billy also with his 32nd double of the year. And it's 0-1 on Mark Teahen. Tien just 5 out of 24 in Baltimore and Tampa Bay. One ball, one strike. The Mariners will give the Royals a run here if Tien can hit a ground ball up the middle. Doesn't have to hit it hard. They'll trade a run for an out.
Well, he's got first, second, and short that he can hit a ground ball to get an RBI here, Ryan.
A tough time getting the curveball down, and Jojima after the pitch motioning with his glove pointed down. Get that pitch down. Don't leave it up.
Well, you're trying to get away from that fly ball. If he leaves it up, that's an automatic fly ball and RBI. He's trying to get him to hit the ball on the ground if possible.
Tien helped him out. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And that's something Mark does when he gets himself in trouble. And if he lets him get the ball out over the plate and get his pitch and drive it to left center, he's fine. But that pitch up around his letters, in on his hands, for some reason that's an automatic trigger for him, and he just can't lay off that pitch.
Strikes him out with the curve. So Roland Smith takes advantage of Tien's lack of discipline on that 2-1 pitch, and it's his first out of the inning on a strikeout. And up comes Alberto Callaspo. Alberto, another Royal that struggled on the trip. Battage is .219. Bloomquist at third, Butler at first. And after the first pitch, fouls it into the seats off to the right field side. Callaspo having a good year overall at .297, but a pretty dramatic right-handed, left-handed variance. A pretty regular hitter from the left side, but .388 from this side of the plate. And the curveball's just a little bit inside.
Well, a little bit shorter stroke from the right side. He really stays behind the ball a lot better, and he drives the ball the other side to the right side a lot better. Left-handed, he tends to want to leave early and pull, and the swing can get a little bit longer, so he tends to roll over on a few more balls left-handed.
Alberto also with a tough series on defense in Tampa Bay, committing 3 errors. In the center for Gutierrez. Both Royals are tagging. Bloomquist to the plate, and Butler slides in safely at third. The Royals lead 2-1. So both free base runners turn into runs.
Well, you see how short that swing is. He tried to get inside of it. He acted like he should have hit it a lot better than he really did. But I'd say you can't complain with a ball deep enough to get a sac fly and an RBI and get a run from second to third base.
And that brings up Brian Pena.
And when you see something like that, Ryan, you're really thinking that he's thinking more about the base hit versus did I do a good enough job to get the run in. If I was a hitter in that situation, I'd be pleased as punch, because first of all, you hit a ball deep enough to get a run, and it doesn't go against you at bat. You get a sac fly for it, and you get to start all over next at bat.
2-1 to Brian Pena. Well, maybe that reaction by Callaspo sums up why the Royals have had some problems on offense this year. The Royals have the fewest sacrifice flies in the American League. That was their 17th sacrifice fly. This is game number 106 tonight. As Pena squibs it up the line, hits the bag, but Branyan is there for the out, and the inning is over. The Royals get 2 and take the lead at the end of 1. Tourism. Plan your summer vacation at Colorado.com. Now Luke Hochevar left the mound after the top of the first inning, down 1-0, and now has a 1-run lead as Adrian Beltre, with his first at bat since June the 28th. He wanted an appeal from the first base umpire, but Tim McClellan, home plate umpire, said he went around. Beltre's been under the knife quite a bit since last season ended. He pops it up to the right side. Left shoulder and left thumb surgery during the offseason, and then left shoulder surgery again on June the 30th. One down in the second inning. Saturday afternoons were made for baseball, and this week Fox brings you the national game of the week as Jason Bay and the Red Sox head to the Bronx to take on Mark Teixeira and the Yankees. Fox Saturday Baseball this week at 3 p.m. on Fox. Mark Teixeira and the Yankees. Doesn't just roll off the tongue quite yet. Get more like Derek Jeter and the Yankees. But Teixeira, after a slow start in his first year in the Pinstripes, is doing in New York what he's done in Anaheim and in Texas. 1-1 on Franklin Gutierrez, former Cleveland Indian. The Indians this past offseason had quite a stable of outfielders and had some depth there to make some deals. Gutierrez pokes it towards the right field corner, and Tien's going to have to play it off the wall. So Gutierrez has a 1-out double, his 13th of the year.
You see some pretty impressive at bats by Butler and by Gutierrez, being able to stay behind the fastball out over the plate and drive it to right field, and that's a good piece of hitting there. Normally he's more of a pull guy, but be able to stay on that ball and drive it, then that's a good piece of hitting. Right.
You know, the Indians had a decision to make where they're going to stick with Gutierrez or Ben Francisco for the long term. They decided to trade away Gutierrez. Well, now they've traded away Ben Francisco. Both of those guys are gone. The Indians traded away, in addition to Ben Francisco, Cliff Lee, Victor Martinez, Rafael Betancourt, their setup man. 0-1 on Kenji Jojima. No balls, 2 strikes. Well, the Royals have certainly had their frustrations this year because of injuries, but the Mariners aren't going to have much sympathy because they've had even more players on the disabled list this year. Seattle's had 14, including Jojima, who broke a toe in 3 different places back in the middle of May. Told you about Adrian Beltre going on the disabled list. Eric Bedard is on the DL now for the second time. 1 and 2 on Jojima. But through it all, a respectable year and a season where the Mariners appear to be headed in the right direction. 10 games back right now in the West, but still 3 games above 500. Good pitch. It's softly to Gordon at third. Jojima's the second out, and Gutierrez holds at second base.
Yeah, Ryan, I agree with you. He did a good job running this 2-seamer in on his hands, and you can see him really. He didn't really get his hands out there to try to hit the ball. He had to try to use his whole body to get that ball out of there. He saw it just coming in on him, and he just tried to fight it off right there. That's a nice routine play for Alex Gordon.
So Gutierrez still at second, 2 down, and now the newest Mariner, Jack Wilson. Royals just saw him in June during interleague play. He was still with the Pirates and had a good series against the Royals. He was 4 for 9 with a home run and a couple of RBIs. He has taken over as the Mariners' everyday shortstop not long after the Royals picked up Yuniesky Betancourt from Seattle.
Now, one thing I noticed about him too in that series, Ryan, is that when he hits the ball, he hustles. I mean, this guy plays the game hard and plays it the right way.
His nickname in Pittsburgh, at least for a time, was Dirt Rat. So that'll tell you what his style of play is. Professional sports might be the only place where a nickname like Dirt Rat would be seen as a compliment.
That kind of means that he'll do whatever he can to get it down on the field. I mean, in terms of turning double plays, knocking balls down at shortstop, you know, breaking up double plays, running hard. He does it all. I was really impressed with the way he played against us in Pittsburgh.
Coming over from Pittsburgh with pitcher Ian Snell. Pickoff play second base. The Royals have been using that quite a bit the past couple of weeks. That timing play where the second baseman comes in, and Royals have gotten the timing down pretty good. They just haven't caught a runner napping.
Well, I think it's a matter of just being able to do it, being able to show the other team that you do have it, and as long as they know it's there, then the base runners will be a little more tentative. They won't, especially with Luke, he can get real slow to the plate at times.
Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. And some coaches believe that the best time to pick off a runner at second base, or one of the best times, is with 2 outs, because that runner's thinking about getting a good jump and scoring on a base hit to the outfield.
Well, the catchers will watch that also. If they get too big a secondary lead, they'll try to pick them off also. But yeah, 2 outs is a good time to try to pick a runner off. If he's a base stealer, then I used to like to pick him off the very next pitch after they steal base.
Another good time to try and pick off a runner at second base is in a bunt situation, because he's really trying to get a jump to avoid the force at third. Wilson taking very pretty swings, but staying alive.
Yeah, Luke is really not doing it. He's really having a hard time getting his sinker down. Those balls are kind of flattening out. They're a little up in the zone, and that's why the foul balls are starting to mount. If he can get the ball to sink, he can get his ground ball.
Just foul. An emphatic call, and we love that from third base umpire Greg Gibson. You could hear him from all the way up here.
That's one where you Alex, you said, did you really have a chance? Got the little smile on his face.
Wilson has fouled off 4 straight pitches. Mariners getting 1 in the first on Suzuki's home run. The Royals getting 2 in the bottom of the first on RBIs from Butler and Callaspo. And again, that pitch is up and away, and Jack Wilson continues to foul it straight back.
Well, he's really dropping his arm down, and where you would think he would be driving the ball down in his own, but for some reason the ball is starting to go up, and it's like a lot of times when you're leading a little bit more with the elbow, it'll push the ball up out over the plate a little bit more. And he's got the arm slot for the sinker, but for some reason mechanically he's not able to get on top of that ball and make it go down.
Got that pitch down and away. Mochaver wins the battle and strikes out his 3rd tonight. So Coach Aver can towel off and enjoy the cool confines of the dugout after winning a battle with Jack Wilson in the top of the second inning, striking him out and getting around a 1-out double. And the Royals with a 2-1 lead will send up Miguel Olivo, Alex Gordon, and Yuniesky Betancourt. And Ryan Roland Smith was having a tough time getting the ball down in the first inning. He walked to Jesus, or a hit to Jesus with a pitch, then walked Bloomquist. So he gave the Royals a couple of runs. Butler doubled home to Jesus. Callaspo's sac fly got Bloomquist to the plate. Miguel Olivo hit .222 on the trip with a home run, 2 RBIs. And the curveball is pulled into left field. So leadoff man on for the second straight inning. Here's tonight's You Call It, presented by Sprint. And the Royals have quite a few ex-Mariners. Which current ex-Mariners helped the Royals the most? Yuniesky Betancourt, Willie Bloomquist, Jose Guillen, or Gil Mesh? Text 432-432, enter keyword Royals, followed by a space, and then A, B, C, or D. Standard text rates apply. Bunted towards third, and Beltre's first test, and he throws it away. Alex will hold. Now he goes to second, and Olivo is going to score all the way from first base. 3-1 KC.
Well, this is a good move by Alex here. And I'll tell you what, when you bunt, sometimes weird things happen. And this is, first of all, Alex bunting is weird. And this is is thrown away at first base. And that creates another weird situation. And it also gets Alex a base hit and gets Miguel Olivo a run scored.
We're going to give Alex a bunt single. And Olivo scoring from first. Alex moving up to second on the air by Adrian Beltre.
Now that's the kind of imagination you like to see from your hitters, Ryan, when they can look back at the defense and see that they've got an advantage someplace and not be afraid to try to take advantage of it. In this situation here, with Betancourt's ability to bunt, I mean, he can still bunt at the third base with Beltre even where he's at. So you just got to use what tools are your best tools, and I think that's one of his best tools.
Well, you know he's geared up to do well against his former team. So as difficult as it may be, you kind of have to check your ego at the dugout and say the best thing I can do tonight is to help my team, help my current team beat my former team.
And too, Ryan, I don't want to get way out there and start second guessing the manager or anything like that, but there are times when a guy's struggling with the bat, and there are times when you know there's a job he can get done. Sometimes you have to make him valuable by even just putting the bunt sign on yourself and just trying to make players more aware that, hey, you can do this, and if you don't want to do it on your own, then I can give you the sign to kind of force you to think about it.
Well, instead he pulls it to third and is out. Alex still standing at second base. Well, there's two examples right there. And we've been going over this for a while now, where if the hitter is not getting the job done, they have to be creative to find a way to get the job done. Alex is hitting 183, so he's trying to find a way to get on base. Right now, swinging the bat isn't going the way it typically would for Alex, so he finds a way to get it done and is rewarded for that. Maybe the baseball gods smiling on him for doing that. He ends up getting a runner home and getting to second base, as De Jesus hits it into right center field, and Gutierrez over to get it. And Alex just barely beating a good throw from Gutierrez. So he's at third with two down.
If you watch Beltre on his throw, he's given the impression that this throw's not coming, hoping that Alex will slow down and try not to slide. But this play was a lot closer than it probably should have been.
And Frank, just to finish the point, you just get a bunt down. You say, you know what, I'm hitting 228. Maybe I should get a bunt down, get the runner to third. Well, now David DeJesus fly ball to center field gets another run home.
Well, that's how you play a game. Sometimes you just have to take the bat out of the player's hands. Certain players on your ball club, you just have to take the bat out of their hands and just do what the situation calls for, and try to teach them that way what the game is telling you to do. And so if you're not going to think about it on your own, then I'm the manager. I'll think about it for you until you start recognizing these situations for yourself.
0-2 on Bloomquist. Like DeJesus scored in the first inning. David hit by a pitch, scored on Butler's double. Bloomquist walked, scored on Callaspo's sac fly. Speaking of fundamentals, kids age 6 to 12 can come out to Kauffman Stadium for Royals Fundamental Youth Clinics, 40-minute sessions from Royals alumni on hitting, pitching, and fielding. And clinics are scheduled today through Thursday of this week. Go to the Royals website, royals.com/fundamentals for more information. Still 0-2 on Willie. And, that's not being critical of the player. I mean, that's just looking at the game and saying the goal is to get runners home.
You have to advance runners to score runs, and when you have a man on second base, the next hitter's job is to advance that runner to third and give the next guy a chance to get him in, even without the benefit of a base hit if possible. But the base hit is always the icing on the cake, but the last thing you think about when a man on third less than 2 outs. You kind of think about getting a pitch you can drive to the outfield.
The Royals and Mariners are very similar when it comes to offense. I mean, almost identical in some categories, but Seattle has 19 more sacrifice bunts this year. So Trey Hillman has given these hitters a chance. He has said, I will give you a chance to do it with the bat. You might get a hit, but I'm going to give you a chance to do it with the bat. Bloomquist pulls it to short. That's the inning, but the Royals add a run thanks to the air and take a 2-run lead into the third inning. Third inning, 3-1 Royals. Coach Haber giving up a game-opening home run to Suzuki, but retiring 6 of the next 7. There's a young player the Mariners are very excited about, Michael Saunders, who's in left field. Off to a slow start since being called up, just 4 out of 27, but one of the best athletes and top prospects in their minor league system, and he is going to get left field the rest of the way.
Well, they've committed to next year, and he's one of the guys that they've committed to, and he's a big guy. He's 6'4", 200 pounds, so he's probably going to fill out some more, and they're probably expecting big things from him.
One ball, 2 strikes. The Mariners were using a former Royal in left field the last time we saw them, Andy Chavez. He is injured, had to have surgery, so he is out. And an opportunity for a young player. 11th round pick of the Mariners in 04. Two balls, 2 strikes.
That was pretty good discipline there for a young hitter, Ryan. That slided down and in. A lot of guys have been swinging over that pitch all year. He did a real good job of laying off that hard slider.
And lines that into left field. That snaps an 0 for 9 for Saunders. And to the top of the order again, and Ichiro Suzuki. Here's tonight's Roadrunner Turbo speed pitch comparison. And in the first 2 innings, Luke Hochevar topped out at 95, Ryan Roland Smith at 91. You can double your speed with Roadrunner Turbo from Time Warner Cable. Suzuki with his 30th career leadoff home run. Hit it off the foul pole in right field. And 3 of those leadoff home runs have come against the Royals. And if you're thinking double play candidate, think again. He has grounded into 1 double play in 427 at bats this year. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Now you think as many line drives as he hits, you think he hit a 1 hopper to short or 1 hopper to one of the other infielders and create that situation, but it's a lot of ground balls, and he hits them at the end of his swing because he's already off and running when the ball makes contact with the bat.
Pena able to stop it enough to keep Saunders at first base. 2 balls, 1 strike. Here's tonight's league leaders, brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. And all of a sudden, Ichiro Suzuki has a 10-point lead on Joe Mauer, who was on his own planet for a while. He was hitting 400 well into June. It has tailed off since, but should be a good race to the end as Mauer is trying for his 3rd batting title in the last 4 years.
Yeah, he's already 1 for 3 tonight in Cleveland, Ryan. So that, and Ichiro's got a base hit his first time up. So like you said, it's going to be a great race throughout the season, I believe.
Suzuki with 8 consecutive 200 hit, 100 runs scored seasons. 156 hits and 60 runs scored as he tries to do it for a 9th consecutive year. And a line drive base hit with Saunders running, but hit so hard into Jesus was shallow that Saunders holds at second, and 2 on, nobody out.
Now, one of the few things that if you look at his, I very rarely see him at a ground ball at second base, and here Bencourt was covering on this hit and run, and you think that, you know, with him being able to hit the ball that way, maybe that's why the Royals are saying, you know, if I give away that hole in shortstop, and with David playing shallow, we can keep the runner at second base. By giving away at second base, now he's got a 1st and 3rd situation.
Russell Branyan struck out in the 1st inning. Hochevar jumps ahead 0-1. Branyan has struck out 112 times, and that's always been a big number for him. And several teams who have taken a flyer on Russell Branyan because of his power potential, but you're going to get a lot of strikeouts with it. Hochevar ahead 0-2. Here's the Arby's pitch by pitch and the strikeout of Branyan in the 1st.
Well, Luke came out throwing his fastball down in the zone. Then he's got this slider up and in, this cutter that he hit well foul, Ryan, and then he comes back away with a fastball up out over the plate. So Branyan doesn't really have a window, you know. He just kind of, if I can get to it and hit it, I'm going to hit it. But but he wants to pull, but he always likes to chase that high fastball away.
Well, making 113 strikeouts for him this year, and Luke striking out his 4th. So Branyan does not advance the runners. First and second, one away for Jose Lopez. Lopez grounded out to Gordon in the first inning. Alex making a nice barehand play, running onto the infield grass. And as he was getting set, Lopez inadvertently hit Ryan Pena with his bat. Now Lopez is a double play candidate. He has grounded into 18 this year. And you've got the perfect style pitcher on the mound when his sinker is right to get that ground ball. Saunders and Suzuki singling to begin the inning. Hochevar just struck out Russell Branyan. Saunders without a stolen base. Ichiro Suzuki has 22. No balls, 2 strikes. When the Mariners were here in May, the Royals swept a brief 2-game series, and Seattle scoring just 2 runs. Sidney Ponson beating the Mariners in game 1, winning 3-1, and the Royals had a big offensive game in game 2, winning 9-1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Seattle has lost 6 consecutive games here at Kauffman Stadium in 10 of their last 12. Again, off the mask of Pena, still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Both the Royals and the Mariners were tied for last in the American League with runs scored coming in tonight, and now the Royals have taken a 2-run advantage. The only stat you can really point to for Seattle as far as what they've done offensively, and it hasn't been a whole lot, is stolen bases. They're 5th in the league in stolen bases. Otherwise, everything else right around 10th in the league or lower.
All right, Lucas on Lopez 2 sinkers up and in and really induced ground balls that went foul, but he's gone away and elevated the ball to the outer half the last 2 pitches. Has resulted in another 2 foul balls. But it seems like the ball, as he's throwing inside it, especially if he gets it down, he can get the ground ball that he's looking for.
Pena got a glove on it, but the runners are going to move up. Be a wild pitch. Charge to Hochevar. So no chance for a ground ball in a double play as Saunders moves up to third base and Suzuki is second.
Well, that pitch right there, you can tell this pitch here is intended to go for the strikeout. It's not to throw a strike, but to throw a chase slider. That's why he threw it so hard. But I thought he had him beat inside with the sinker when he kept getting to really pull it over on the third base side. Pitch similar to that pitch right there. But then when you see that hard slider, then you tell yourself right there, he's going for the strikeout. When you go for the strikeout, you know you're going to spike that ball in the dirt, and it's got to be blocked by the catcher. So this is similar. This pitch here is similar to the 2 pitches earlier that got him to strike 2, and then he went away from it, and then he comes right back to it again. So all he has to do now is just get it maybe down a little bit more, and it may sink underneath his bat.
That fastball caught a lot of the plate, and Lopez makes Hochevar pay and drives it to the gap, and that'll tie the game. So Lopez getting Saunders and Suzuki to the plate. He has driven in 62 this year.
Well, you see where Pena wants the ball right. This ball just goes straight. It doesn't sink at all. It just stays out over the plate when they want it inside again, but they just stay right over the plate, right on the middle of the plate, and Lopez jumped all over it. So we noticed right away that Luke's really having a hard time throwing a consistent sinker down today. He's really, even though his arm slot is dropping down, which he should be able to throw a sinker out of, for some reason he's holding on to the ball a little too long, and the ball's going straight, and it's been up in the zone for the most part.
Well, we've discussed this several times, and it used to be, and you brought this up from your playing days, that it used to be a pitcher wouldn't change what he was throwing unless the hitter proves he can handle that pitch. But we've seen on several occasions this year where the hitter hasn't proved he can handle the pitch, but still the pitcher will act as if he has and will go to something else.
Well, I think the reason they go to something else is they're looking for the strikeout, and they're looking for a chase pitch for the strikeout. And I think that's one reason our wild pitches are up this year is because of that. And you, like you said, if you got 3 fastballs by a guy, go ahead and throw 3 fastballs. But he was successful on the 2 balls inside, the two seamers inside. Then he went away to even the score, to even the count, and then he comes back and gets another good pitch in there. But then he tries to go back, but the ball stays straight. He just didn't get down.
That was a good curveball to Ken Griffey Jr. Luke struck him out in the first inning. One and one. Well, and if the pitch has good movement on it, then obviously you've got the right arm slot, you've got the right grip. But if you start throwing other pitches, then you got to go back to that pitch again. You might not have the same arm slot, and then it stays out over the plate like it did to Lopez.
Right, for some reason he's got the right arm slot, but the ball is flattening out. It's not really sinking like it normally does. It's almost like you're slinging the ball versus throwing the ball, and with the idea of making it sink.
Again goes back to the curveball, and Griffey's ahead in the count 3-1. Tim McClellan has a tighter strike zone, so pitchers aren't likely to get the benefit of the doubt on close pitches. And Griffey, seeing another curveball, pulls this one into right field. And Seattle is going to take the lead for the second time tonight. So Lopez, who just drove in 2, comes home on the Griffey single, and the Mariners lead 4-3.
Well, I guess good. You know, a hitter as good as Griffey, you can only go to the well so many times before he picks you up. But this is all about location right here, Ryan. You see where the glove is, and you see where the ball is, and that's after throwing a couple of curveballs already in there. And Griffey just waiting for it, and he didn't really sting it, but he got enough of it to get a base hit in the right field.
Oh, 0-1 on Adrian Beltre, popped out to second base in the second inning. Beltre has always hit well here. About a .360 hitter at Kauffman Stadium, and he's driven in 17 runs. Coach Haver kind of tied him up with that pitch, but missed inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. One and 2. Well, one of the frustrating things about this game can be one of the fun challenges of this game. I think that's the approach that Brian Bannister takes, is that the league is constantly monitoring your game. What are you doing? What's making you successful? They're watching video. They're looking at pie graphs. And they got it all broken down. And Shavers strikes out his fifth, and in the last 2 games, the Orioles and the Mariners have had a pretty good idea against Luke, and Luke had been pretty dominant prior to that. 2 down in the 3rd inning. Some players just thrive on the mental part of it. They see the team that they're facing making an adjustment against them and see that as a challenge and find a way to counter that adjustment. A little bit inside on Gutierrez. There's a good sign, seeing Gil Mesh back in a Royals uniform after making a minor league rehab start. And if Gil is ready to go, that could be who he's replacing in the rotation, Bruce Chen. 2-0 on Gutierrez, doubled in the 2nd inning. Mariners have made him work in this 3-run 3rd inning. Seattle with 3 runs on 4 hits. Three and 1. Gutierrez hit his first 3 major league home runs against the Royals, and all against left-hand pitchers. Jorge De La Rosa, Odalis Perez, and Andrew Cisco. Now 3 balls, 2 strikes. So Griffey will be moving on the next pitch. Griffey has driven in a run. Jose Lopez has driven in 2. And the Mariners, who are down 2 runs coming into this 3rd inning, lead by 1. Still 3 and 2. Luke trying to avoid the walk, and he has an impressive stretch at the moment. In his start against Baltimore, when he walked the only batter that he walked in that game, he had gone 82 consecutive batters without a walk. Griffey runs, and Gutierrez grounds it up the middle. Betancourt picking it off and throwing him out. Mariners score 3 and lead by 1 to the bottom of the 3rd. working with inner city Hispanic children at Bethany Community Center every Thursday night for the past 15 years. 2 years ago, she retired from 26 years of home daycare to take mission work on full-time with the In His Service Ministries, a nonprofit business serving inner city communities. So good for her, and hope she's enjoying tonight's game from the Buck O'Neill Legacy seat from behind home plate. Right now, Luke Hochaver is not enjoying the game as he's down 4-3 to the bottom of the third. Just a half inning ago, he had a 2-run lead. Billy Butler with his 32nd double and his 49th RBI in the first inning. Ahead 2 balls, no strikes against Ryan Roland Smith. Butler, Tien, Cayaspo coming up here in the bottom of the third. 3-0. Ryan Roland Smith is from Australia. Played with the Australian Olympic team in 2004 when they won a silver medal. Billy with his second hit, a rocket to left field, and back come the Royals in the bottom of the third with the leadoff man on. Fox Sports Kansas City and the Royals present a special Royals telecast on Saturday when we recognize American troops. Troops worldwide will be watching the game on American Forces Network, and we'll connect with the men and women of the Missouri National Guard based in Afghanistan. If you're planning to be at the game or watching on Saturday, help us send a message of appreciation of their dedication and service. 1-0 on Mark Tien, struck out in the first inning. So Mark just 5 for his last 25. Tien had a good series against Seattle when they were here in May as the Royals swept the 2-game series. Mark with a home run, 3 RBIs. The Royals, after the 2-game sweep, were 18-11. But then lost their next 6. 2 balls, 1 strike. Two and two. By the way, Ryan Roland Smith, if you're wondering how many hyphenated names there have been in Major League Baseball, he is the first and only. Tien lays off the pitch this time. It's 3-2. There were 16,919 Major League players before him, and he was the first to use a hyphenated name. Ryan Roland Smith.
When we saw him in the minor leagues, Ryan, the players said, well, that's the pitcher with the 3 first names. So you'll never forget him because he's got 3 first names. So that was pretty interesting.
I think Tien would like to have that pitch back.
Well, you know, Ryan, you got to be ready to hit, you know, and you got to be ready for the fastball, and that's the pitcher's pitch right on the outside corner. There's not much he can do with it, but if he's concentrating out that way like he normally does, he can probably put the bat on him. But he's been in more of a pull mode tonight.
Lopez stepping on the bag and realizing that was the only out that he had. So Butler out at second base. And Cayaspo, who drove in a run with a sacrifice fly in the first inning, is at first base with 2 down. You know, I was talking about Cayaspo when he got the sac fly in the first inning, and we saw him cursing himself after he hit the fly ball with runners at second and third and 1 out. I was saying at the time that that's what the Royals coaching staff is up against right now, trying to get these guys to think about just get the run home. That the sacrifice fly in some of their minds isn't good enough. I mean, they want doubles and they want home runs, and for a team that's having a tough time pushing runs across this year, it's a surprise. It's a shock to see that the Royals only have 17 sacrifice flies all year.
Well, it just goes back to pitch selection when you're in that situation, looking for a ball up in the zone. That's something that you can drive to the outfield, and that sac fly by Alberto, and that, I mean, to me, that's when he should have went to first base smiling. You know, I got my job done. It didn't hurt my batting average at all. And when he goes back to the bench, it should have been all high five and everybody happy kind of situation.
Two 2-1 to Brian Pena, grounded out in the first inning, coming off a great road trip. 6 out of 13 with 3 walks. So it seemed like he was always on base. And he got his average up to 319 after the trip. Roland Smith evens the count at 2-2. Ryan continuing to get starts behind the plate. And Trey Hillman and John Gibbons, at least the last 2 games, trying to find at-bats for Miguel Olivo and John Buck as the designated hitter. Hit hard at the left field line and just foul. Either John is dancing or he has a bad case of the hiccups. Still 2-2 on Pena.
It's probably a little nervous energy going on right there. A little boredom. want to get something going. It's no fun sitting on the bench. I mean, that's the worst place you want to be in a baseball park, is on the bench. You want to be in the action, and when you're not in the action, you just want to pull for the guys that are on the field, and you just want to win more than anything else. So whatever you can do to make that happen, that's fine. And John made the statement early in the year that, hey, when I'm not in the game, I'm pulling for everybody out there, because he basically just want to win.
And I'm sure as a manager for you, when you were at AA Wichita in the Arizona Fall League and the Red Sox minor league system, there's some guys you just want them off the bench because they'll just drive you crazy, right?
Well, Zach was like that.
Was he?
Yeah, Zach was in my ear a lot. Wanted to pinch run, wanted to pinch hit. I mean, he was just one of those guys that really just wanted to do a lot. He used to go out in early batting practice and really power shag, and then go in regular BP and power shag again. It's almost like he was trying to tire himself out, so I feel like he did something that day.
To the right side. So Pena's out, and so the Royals in the 3rd inning. Seattle leads by 1. in his first 3 innings. He's also struck out 5. We get the 7, 8, and 9 hitters in the 4th. And Kenji Jojima takes a curveball outside. Luke made a very good pitch on Jojima in the 2nd inning, tied him up with a fastball, and he had a slow roller to Gordon at third base. Breaking ball makes it 1-1. Talking about Luke's impressive stretch without a walk, 82 consecutive batters until his last start against Baltimore, but Luke has now walked 2 in his last 30 1/3 innings. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Off of Luke's glove, Betancourt charging in, quick throw, and gets Jojima. So 1-6-3 and 1 down in the 4th inning.
Listen, excellent play here, Ryan, off a loose glove. Betancourt just never stops, and the one thing I liked he did there, he used his glove, and they didn't try to barehand the ball, and they did a great job. That was a really nice play right there. Very aggressive play.
Now Jack Wilson pulls it into left field, and Jesus cutting it off deep. Wilson on his way to second base and just ahead of the throw. So he is 1 for 2 after a strikeout in the 2nd inning.
Another hanging slider that stayed inside, didn't go away from Jack Wilson, and he really pulled it down the line. But David does an excellent job right here, Ryan. He's been doing this all year long, and Jack Wilson never slowed up. Like we said, he's a hustler. So this ball, he just barely beats this throw into second base. And David may have to go into spring training actually and do a clinic how to play the left field line.
Well, David had a couple of outfield assists in the very first series when we were in Chicago, and at the time he was telling us that the thing that Rusty Kuntz worked with him the most in spring training was that play, cutting up the ball from the left field corner and trying to prevent singles from turning into doubles, runners going first to third on singles. And at the time the Royals felt like they're in pretty good shape in left center field with the speed of Coco Crisp, but trying to take the left field line away from the hitters.
And that's good strategy if you got a guy in center field that can run like Coco can run. And I tell you, we really saw immediate results of it right away. And David's really just continued from there. And with Willie in center field, he's got good speed, but not Coco Crisp type speed, but he can still afford to gamble a little bit.
Saunders singled leading off the 3rd inning and scored. The Mariners scoring 3 in the 3rd inning. And Luke has fallen behind 3-1. Here's Luke's pitch count, brought to you by James B. Nutter and Company. So he still has a good strike to ball ratio, 2-1, and hasn't walked anyone, but Mariners have come up with 7 hits and 4 of those for extra bases. It's 3-2 on Saunders. Luke has also been quite reliable since being called up for the 2nd time this year, as far as giving the manager an idea of what he can expect. He's gone at least 6 innings in 10 of his last 11 starts. And a lot of that has to do with the reduction of walks, throwing more strikes, fewer pitches. Right side, Callaspo wants it. 2 down. So Wilson at second base for Ichiro Suzuki, who has a 2-hit game so far tonight. Palmer to open the game off the foul pole in right field is 7th, and singled and scored in the 3rd. So So 157 hits for Suzuki, who's going for his 9th straight 200 hit season. With his trademark swordsman-like pose before every pitch. Or maybe fencing. It's kind of like a fencing pose. I don't know anything about fencing. You know anything about fencing?
I know it's hard.
2-0 on Suzuki.
I know it takes some very good hand-eye coordination, very good balance. And you don't want to get stuck.
Yeah. Well, it's good that they've replaced, you know, the sword fights with fencing, because I think the sword matches got a little messy after a while.
You put a little uniform on, you know, won't get, the sword won't go all the way through.
Yeah,
you know, yeah,
right.
I like that. Put a little face mask with it.
Yeah,
good.
This will be Joe's first and only sword fight. Suzuki swinging on 3-0. Billy knocks it down. Gonna have to hurry. Not in time. So first and third and 2 down. And John Gibbons is out to talk it over with Mike Estabrook. The Royals just had him for 4 days as part of the crew in St. Petersburg.
Now, what you want to look for here, Ryan, is whether you don't want to so much look for whether the throw beat him or not. You want to see if Luke actually got his foot on the bag before each throw got to the bag. Yeah, the throw actually he actually has the ball before. Now you got to see where that front toe goes. So in the eye of the umpire, in the eye of the umpire, he feels like Luke didn't touch the bag. So watch the front toe, and you see the little dirt go up right there. So that's a good indication that he didn't touch the bag right there.
It's an error on Billy Butler. Well, we know what Rusty Kuntz thought in the background there. He was celebrating with a loud yeah before we got the call from Mike Estabrook. Russell Branyan has struck out twice, so Wilson's at third. Suzuki at first on the air by Butler. Branyan striking out, swinging at a curveball in the first, a fastball in the third. And 2. This is that part of the inning that really scares the Royals because these are extra outs. Coach Aver feels like he should be in the dugout right now, getting a ground ball from Suzuki on a 3-0 pitch. The Royals committing their 79th error. That's second only to Seattle in the American League, but the Royals have given up 56 unearned runs. Would like to keep it there here in the fourth. And Branyan hit by that pitch. You can hear him say ow. So on an 0-2 pitch, Branyan goes down to first, and now they're loaded up for Jose Lopez, who already has a 2-run double.
Well, that's when you want to yell ouch on too, Ryan. This ball doesn't even bounce. This ball hits him square right on the bunion of the side of the foot, right by the big toe. And I tell you that's an ouch type ball right there. But every time you face the extra hitter, it means extra pitches. And that pitch there is intended to go for the strikeout, and he's been burying it in the dirt pretty much every time.
Second time that Bob McClure has made a trip to the mound tonight.
Yeah, he already had 2 previous strikeouts on Brandon on fastballs up and away, and you hate to see him get away with a slider down and in when you've had success on strikeout pitches up and away both times.
And Robinson Tejeda warming up with 2 outs in the 4th. So this is bonus time for Seattle. Bases loaded. Jose Lopez grounded softly to Gordon in the 1st inning, but hit a 2-run double and scored in the 3rd. A slider for ball 1. That was the at bat where Frank and I were talking about how Luke was really pounding him in good with the fastball, went away with it with a breaking ball, then tried to come back with the fastball and left it right down the middle. It's 2 balls and no strikes. And Luke is really piling up the pitches. He had 36, make it 37 in the 3rd inning, and now he's coming up on 90, and we're only in the 4th inning. Two and one.
Does it seem like Luke's pace tonight is a lot slower than what you normally see from him, and a lot of pawing around the mound and just a little more time in between pitches?
Now that you mention it, yes.
It's almost like it throws you simply out of your rhythm. When you're used to working a certain pace, you know, you really need to maintain that pace so you can maintain the rhythm. And when you're trying to, almost like you're trying to overthink every pitch you're going to throw.
Gets a big strikeout of Lopez, and the Mariners leave the bases loaded in the 4th inning. First 10,000 kids age 14 and under a Royals chest protector backpack this Sunday. And if you're out shopping and you end up with extra school supplies, we hope you'll donate them to the Royals Wives Back to School Drive. And that Back to School Drive will be taking place on Thursday and Friday at gates B and C before the games. Miguel Olivo singled and scored leading off the 2nd inning. 1 ball, 1 strike from Ryan Roland Smith. Olivo had a stop with the Mariners. Grounds it right to Beltre, who's won a couple of Gold Gloves, including last year at third base. And Olivo is down, leading off the fourth. Beltre with one of the more unique throwing mechanics that I've ever seen. That, hey, you talk about, throwing through the ball, stepping and throwing. He strides and then just kind of stops as if his feet are just dried up in concrete, and really throws more off of his back leg as opposed to throwing through the ball and going over the front leg. That's Alex Gordon's second hit. He had been 0 for 11 coming into the series. A bunt single in the second, and singles to right here in the fourth. And with 1 on 1 out, Yunievsky Betancourt to the plate, and Joel Goldberg to the microphone.
Well, Ryan, you were just talking about Adrian Beltre, who is one of Betancourt's friends on the Mariners and, of course, a longtime teammate. I asked Beltre today about Betancourt and some of the knocks on him in Seattle, and he said it's almost like Betancourt got to the big leagues too easily, and it was too easy for him to get there, and then the hard work didn't really come afterwards. And he said that he has more talent than he's shown. He needs to be able to work and do the little things better to really have success. And I said, how good is this guy? And he said he could absolutely be a superstar if he is willing to put it together. He said, I've told him that before, and I was talking to somebody else in the organization who said if he put in as much work as Beltre, he could be an all-star, guys.
Well, that's coming from one of his friends. So, that's not a player that maybe has an edge to him or maybe with sour grapes, as Betancourt, right on cue, drives it to the gap in right center field. Alex coming around third base. That'll tie the game, and Betancourt in front of the slide of Beltre. We're tied at 4.
But this is what we've been really trying to get him to go back to in terms of my thought processes anyway, is go back to that triple you hit when you first got here, stay in that side of the field. There's a lot of hits over there. He does a real good job of getting a fastball up out over the plate and staying with it. He's got good power to right center field. Where he gets in trouble, Ryan, is when he tries to pull a little too much, and he did make good turns all the way around the base and just beat the throw to third base. Well, that's interesting. One of his teammates, one of his best friends, would say that openly, and that's just a real good indicator that maybe getting here too soon, not having to earn your way here, can take some toll on you in your approach. I'm sure he worked hard to get called to the big leagues.
This could be a tough play. Betancourt tagging, caught by Lopez. Betancourt coming to the plate, and the ball is cut off. And Betancourt gets his left hand on home plate. The Royals take a 5-4 lead. Betancourt has driven in a run, and now he scored the go-ahead run.
Well, this is an excellent job of base running, an excellent job of sliding, and he did a super job of going around Jojima and getting his hand in there. That was super that he made the call for McClellan himself. We were in now this is a play by Lopez right here, almost like he didn't know he had it. But, you see where Wilson is sitting right there. Now, your second baseman's got to be able to make this throw all the way to the plate on one hop. And I'm going to have to go back to Tampa Bay, where I kind of criticized Betancourt for being in that same area going over to first base on a ball down the line with a runner on first base, and nobody was at second base. And that's part of the way they do it. Now that I see Jack Wilson over here on the line, I don't see the reason to bring the shortstop over there on a throw so short.
Now, can Lopez catch that ball maybe up above his head and put himself in a little better throwing position quicker and get a little more behind that throw? I mean, he's kind of decorating a routine play. Well, he had a routine play. But.
Well, he had a long way to go to get it, so he probably couldn't get his body angled enough to get under that ball and get in the proper fielding position to throw home. But he's actually in a pretty good position to be able to field that ball and spin and be back on top. I was just questioning whether Jack Wilson needed to be where he was. If he's not there, then Betancourt's out at the plate. And if he knows right away that Betancourt's going, he's still out at the plate because his first look was to third base and not to home plate. So if your second baseman can't throw the ball 150 feet, then something's wrong.
Another former Mariner here, Willie Bloomquist, has contributed tonight. Walked and scored in the first inning. He's also grounded out. Strikes out his third. Royals come up with 2 in the 4th inning. Betancourt into Jesus driving in runs.
It's almost like neither team wants to settle down and take this game, and it's typical of the way that both teams have been playing this year. It's like one team gets it, the other team gives it right back. So it's kind of nice to see the Royals offense doing some big hitting, and you've seen a little bit of out of Alex Gordon today. The bunt base hit, and so you're starting to see some imagination out of the offense, and I think that's a good indicator for the rest of the summer if that keeps going. There have been times where I think that there are going to be times where I think the manager's going to have to take the bat out of some of these guys' hands and really, Ryan, I hate to say it, teach them how to play the game. I think that there's been too many opportunities for them to get a job done where they've been left on their own to get it done and haven't got done. So I think it's time for, anything goes as far as the manager's concerned.
Griffey swinging on 3-0. Well, as I pointed out a couple of innings ago, there really isn't a guy on this roster who can say, the manager's taking the bat out of my hands. Situations, runner at third, less than 2 outs, runner at second, nobody out. Trey Hillman has given almost every hitter the chance to do it while swinging the bat as opposed to making them bunt. Hochevar walks his first, and only the third walk given up by him in over 31 innings. And this is a test for him in the 5th. He is now up over 90 pitches, and what has been a disappointing trend for both pitchers tonight. Team gets him the lead, they give it right back. And for the second time tonight, the Royals have given Hochevar the lead, and he's just fighting to give the Royals 5 innings tonight. Beltre fouls it off of his foot. His return from the disabled list, a strikeout, a pop-up, and an error for Adrian Beltre.
Now that pitch has been a real good pitch for Luke tonight. That two-seamer he's been running in on the right-handers, but hasn't really stayed with it. He stays long enough with it to get a couple strikes, and then he wants to go away for the strikeout with the slot.
And there you go. Good result. The swing and a miss, but after the sinker, a slider, it's 0-2.
But I think it's all about the routine you get yourself in and whether or not you can make a good pitch once you go away from the ball inside. So that was a good pitch that Beltre had a chance to hit, and that was a hanging breaking ball that he wishes he had back probably.
So Luke has struck out 7 and 1 down in the 5th inning.
So just take a look at where the pitch is supposed to be and where it is. So a lot of times you won't get away with that pitch to a good hitter. And he missed by quite a bit.
One walk, 7 strikeouts for Hochevar and 97 pitches. Gutierrez has doubled and grounded out to short. Slider for strike 1. Mariners with a run in the 1st inning. Royals with 2 in the 1st and 1 in the 2nd, so they led 3-1. Seattle with 3 in the 4th to lead 4-3, and the Royals just got 2 in the bottom of the 4th. So back and forth we go. 2 strikes the count on Gutierrez.
Again, he goes in to get strike 2 with that good runner in on the hitter's hand. So we'll see what he does right here.
The slider, still no balls, 2 strikes.
And the thing about it is, it is 2 strikes, and basically, he shouldn't have that good a swing, 0-2. But you go slider on the outside part, and now and then, I think this is a real good pitcher here. And then once we're coming back with that twice, now you hang the slider, and he's already had 1 double down the right field line, and he got away with that hanging breaking ball right there.
Pena wants this pitch down and away. And that's exactly where it is. Way down and away. 8 strikeouts for Luke and 2 down in the 5th inning.
Now the reason that Pena wants it in the dirt because he wants to go for the strikeout here, and he's got to be ready to block it as he did, and he got his strikeout. But the hitters are noticing what your routine is, and so they know you're going to throw a breaking ball. It's a matter of whether or not they make it be a strike or not.
Luke kind of reinventing his style of pitching, becoming more of a strikeout type pitcher. 1 ball, no strikes on Jojima. Remember, it was only 4 starts ago that Luke's career high for strikeouts was 6. But he has surpassed that career high now in 3 of his last 4 starts, with 9 on the 19th against Tampa Bay, 13 on the 25th. I'm talking about July against Texas, and now 8 tonight against Seattle. Jojima has grounded out twice. Didn't get the call. 3-0. Kyle Davies returns to the rotation tomorrow. He'll be facing Luke French, who was traded from the Tigers to the Mariners for Jared Washburn. And Luke French with his first major league win against the Royals earlier this year. And tomorrow's game will be in high definition. A leadoff walk for Hochevar, but strikeouts of Beltre and Gutierrez. And another walk. Well, we know all about the bullpen struggles lately, but that doesn't just fall on the bullpen. The belief that A good bullpen is also a well-rested bullpen, and you're turning the ball over to the pen in the 5th, 6th inning. Well, you're forcing the manager to make 3 or 4 different decisions as far as bringing guys in, and there's always a chance that one of those guys doesn't have his A game that night. That's all it takes.
Well, you're right, Ryan. If you're going to bring your bullpen this early, then all you hope for is that your bullpen comes out and throws strikes, give you a couple, 2 or 3 quick innings, get the game to the back of the game, and just keep the game where it's at. And that's all you're looking for. If they come out and throw balls and walk guys, sort of follow the pattern that they've been in for the last couple of weeks, then it's going to be pretty tough. Just too many outs to get.
Wilson chased a pitch. It wasn't a strike. It's 0-1. Struck out in the 2nd inning, doubled in the 4th. Luke has thrown 107 pitches to get through 4 2/3 innings. And this just makes that Cincinnati start even more remarkable, as he needed now 28 fewer pitches to throw 4 1/3 more innings. 80 pitches in 9 innings tonight, 108 in 4 2/3 innings. Two and one. Two and two. Jack Wilson, originally from the Cardinal organization, but he was stuck behind Fernando Vina at second base and Edgar Renteria at shortstop. Traded to the Pirates, where he made his big league debut and had a successful career. Big fan favorite in Pittsburgh. Pulls that foul. And I'm sure the fans in Seattle will enjoy watching Jack Wilson play.
Well, this is a tough ball here. This is one that you really don't want to square up on, because you can really get one where we don't want it, right on the lips.
Well, he was turning away to protect the lips.
Well, he was smart.
Shallow right, and up comes Tien, and that's the inning. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, a scoreless 5th. Explore a menu full of hearty soups, hand-tossed salads, inventive sandwiches, and savory breakfast items. Panera Bread, where every detail matters. Becoming a cool night in Kansas City. 87 degrees at first pitch. Sean Kelly takes over in the bottom of the 5th inning. Pretty good control, just 5 walks in 20 2/3 innings, but 5 home runs. That is a big number over that stretch. Billy Butler is 2 for 2, doubled with an RBI in the 1st inning and singled in the 3rd. So the Royals scoring 5 runs off of Ryan Roland Smith in 4 innings. One of the runs was unearned. And Ryan Roland Smith was coming off one of the best starts of his career, taking a no-hitter into the 7th inning against Toronto on Wednesday and allowed just 2 runs, 3 hits in 7 innings. But tonight the Royals knock him out after 4. Branyan to the Royals dugout, but that's back in the seats. Back and forth tonight. Seattle 1 in the 1st. Royals 2 in the bottom of the 1st. 1 in the 3rd. Royals with a 2-run lead. Seattle with 3 in the 3rd to go ahead by 1. The Royals with 2 in the bottom of the 4th to regain the lead 5-4. 3 balls, 1 strike. Billy was 5 for 8 against Seattle when they were back here in May. So now 7 for 10 with 2 of his 32 doubles. And takes a leadoff walk. Fans, don't forget about Royals Alumni Fantasy Camp. It's coming up next year, February 1st through the 5th at the Royals Spring Training Facility in Surprise, Arizona. $3,700 includes hotel, all ground transportation, 2 meals a day, 2 uniforms, 2 games a day, plus a game against former big leaguers. There's a banquet. You're going to have a locker in the big league clubhouse, and some of the Royals that'll be there will include George Brett, John Mayberry, Dennis Leonard, Willie Wilson, Jeff Montgomery, John Wathan, and our own Frank White. Go to Royals.com for more information. Although, what more information do you need? I mean, how do you not sign up for that with all those details, with all those perks?
It's a lot of fun. It's an awful lot of fun. I mean, a week in Arizona in February. Ooh, damn.
It's the best time to be there.
So, where do I get my ticket?
Tee into the right side. Lopez getting the lead runner. So Butler is down. And Tien is 0 for 3. And now Alberto Callaspo had a sac fly in the 1st inning and reached on a fielder's choice in the 3rd. Shallow left. Saunders 2 down. And now Brian Pena is grounded out twice. So he'll move over to the left side for the first time tonight. Fastball at 93 for strike 1. Sean Kelly, a 13th round pick of the Mariners in 07. Spent some time on the disabled list this year back in May with a torn left oblique. Broken bat. And Lopez back to the grass. Pena is 0 for 3, and the Royals are finished in the 5th inning. freeze cam. And we go back to the bottom of the 4th inning. This foul pop-up from David DeJesus caught by Lopez. And Betancourt getting around the tag. The ball was dropped by Jojima, but a creative slide by Betancourt to the outside, hitting home plate with his left hand. Coors Light Freeze Cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. So Luke Hochevar is out because of 112 pitches. John Bale taking over in the 6th inning. We'll get the 9, 1, and 2 hitters. Michael Saunders singled and scored in the 3rd. He's 1 for 2. And laying down a bunt. He's an outstanding drag bunter. And there's a perfect example. Textbook all the way until he dived head first into first base.
Well, he did a good job. It was a curveball. He kind of hesitated on it, then he picked it up again and drug it with him. And, you know, he did a good job. All he had to do is beat the pitcher, John Bell. Once you got to make the first baseman commit to the ball, now it's just between you and the pitcher. He did a great job, like you say, Ryan. That's awful risky going head first in the first base. You get jam that wrist, see how that heel, let a hand hit the base and come up like that. You really got to be careful.
One and 0 on Suzuki, who has a 2-hit game. Led off the game with a home run, the 30th career leadoff home run for him. And he singled and scored in the 3rd inning. Two and 0. John Bale will change his arm angle from time to time, and we noticed when he was throwing on the side in St. Petersburg, because the bullpen is very close to the dugout, and he was working on coming down sidearm, maybe even submarine style. Lower than that even. The count is 3-0 on Suzuki, so we'll see if he's comfortable enough to use it in the game tonight, or if it's still a work in progress in the bullpen.
When he was starting, Ryan, he would do that with 2 strikes, like you said earlier, that he just didn't want to stay down there all the time. But out of the bullpen, I could see where he would be more effective if he stayed down there all the time and create more movement on his sink, on his fastball, some deception to the left-handed hitters.
Suzuki has added a couple of points to his average at 366, 157 hits, and 61 runs scored. Every full season he's had in the big leagues, he's had at least 200 hits, at least 100 runs scored, and a Gold Glove. And a good breaking ball there, sweeping, and had Suzuki bending back. It's 3-2.
Well, that's the deception that you're looking for when you change that arm slot, and it's almost like it's starting behind him, and when he commits backwards, the ball breaks out over the plate. So if he can continue to pitch it out of that arm slot and get the ball to the outside part of the plate, he's going to be real effective that way.
Still 3-2.
See, that one he kind of left inside, and Ichiro's always moving that way, so he's always got that last snap of the bat on the inner half, and that's where he got Hochevar early in the game for the home run. But you see where he stays in there, so his upper body starts to go, but the ball's right there, right in his line of fire with the bat. So if he can get it to the extension side, which is the outside half, he'd probably have some success.
A walk. So a bunt, single, and a walk. The Royals leading by 1, but 2 on, nobody out. And Russell Branyan to the plate. Throwing behind John Bale is Jamie Wright. This appeared to be the perfect inning for John Vail, with Saunders a left-hand batter, Suzuki a left-hand batter, Branyan a left-hand batter, and then after Lopez, Ken Griffey Jr. another left-hand batter. So far he's allowed the first two to get away. Up the first base line, under Butler's glove and down into the corner. Mariners have tied the game. Suzuki is going to be held at third. And Branyan drives in his 57th. We're tied at 5. And out comes John Gibbons. So Vail will not get a chance to hang around and face Griffey, 2 batters down the line. So Vail faces 3, retires 0. In third with nobody out. And Jamie Wright coming on to face Jose Lopez. So Luke Hochevar cannot win it after handing over a lead to the bullpen, but there was a lot of work to be done. Hochevar only going 5 innings tonight. You have a feeling that this game is a long ways from being over.
Well, that's a lot of outs outside of your bullpen. So in order to get to the end, you've got to have those first couple guys out of the pen. They got to come out and put a couple zeros up, have a couple quick innings for you, and that'll help a lot. But if you come out walking guys, then you're just asking for trouble.
Brian Pena just saved a run. Jose Lopez with a 2-run double tonight, and he's faced Jamie Wright 5 times, couple of hits including a home run. Back to Jamie, freezing the runners, 1 down. If he can get it to Butler. So he handled the most difficult part of that play and then almost spoiled the easier part.
Well, you're right, Ryan. He got the ball and then he looked at third base.
1 down.
But I think that sigh of relief went a little too far right there.
now Griffey will be intentionally walked, setting up a double play with Adrian Beltre coming up. Griffey has driven in a run with a single. He's also reached with a walk, so this will be his second walk of the night. The Mariners have had the lead twice tonight. The Royals have had the lead twice tonight. And now Beltre. Beltre with that second surgery on his left shoulder on June the 30th. And the doctors were saying he'd be out 6 to 8 weeks. Turned out he's only out for 5 weeks. And he's been begging back into the lineup the last 7 to 10 days. Oh, and 1 from Jamie Wright. It hasn't been a good start for Beltre tonight. 0 for 3 at the plate with a couple of strikeouts, and he's committed an error that led to an unearned run.
He's probably feeling pretty good, Ryan, at the plate. He's 13 for 31 against Jamie Wright, so he probably feels pretty confident going up there in this situation.
That's a lot of experience, and figures out to a .419 average. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, this is that slider he was chasing with 2 strikes, and that's been Luke's bread and butter pitch tonight to get his strikeouts. Here's a hanging slider that he just really pulled his head off of and swung underneath it. So, but you know, it just shows to show he does recognize the pitch. He just mechanically, maybe because he's been off for a while, he's just not quite in sync.
Suzuki at third, Branyan at second base. Branyan's double in this inning has tied the game, and Griffey at first. Laid off the breaking ball, 2-2. These two guys hooking up quite a bit in the National League, with Jamie Wright coming up with the Colorado Rockies in the same division as Adrian Beltre's original team, the Dodgers, and then moving to the American League, and they were in the same division with Jamie Wright was with the Rangers and Beltre with the Mariners. Struck him out. 3 strikeouts for Beltre. Bases loaded, 2 down.
This is one of Jamie's better sinkers right here, Ryan. This is where he wants to be. This ball really started in the center of the plate, and you can see just how it just went down and in. This is what this sinker that Jamie Wright has should do on a consistent basis right there. That's an outstanding pitch.
Now Jamie Wright has to get past Franklin Gutierrez. And another good sinker. It's 0-1. Gutierrez 1 for 3 tonight with a double, and 1 for 3 in his career against Jamie Wright.
He's some of the better sinkers he's thrown in quite a while. He's been having a hard time with it and started to go mainly with his slider, because his fastball or his sinker has been up in the zone and kind of flattening out. But that's back-to-back beautiful pitches right there.
That breaking ball stayed up. Good thing for Jamie Wright. It was too far inside for Gutierrez to do anything with it. Another good sinker. They might just want to stay with that pitch. I mean, nobody has proven they can hit it.
That's my theory. But you know, sometimes you're trying to throw too many pitches, you get yourself in trouble. But I mean, he's got the feel for it. So as long as you got the feel for it, just go ahead and throw it.
Pena's got to call for the sinker here, right?
You would think, but he'll probably go for the strikeout with the slider.
Left it out over the plate, and it's fouled off the tarp. That one didn't quite have the bite of the other pitches.
That was in the middle of the plate, too.
Brian Pena out there to say, throw that one that sinks down and in and under the bat next time.
The one that they haven't fouled off yet.
Yeah.
The one thing you got to be careful of here, though, Ryan, is if he calls that slider, then he's got to be ready to block it, because that's the one. If they go for the strikeout pitch, then it's definitely going to be in the dirt. So he's got to be ready to kick it back out in front of the plate.
And with the breaking ball, and he pounds it off the plate. I guess the feeling is if you throw the pitch too many times, even if they haven't proven they can hit it, maybe they start looking for it. They anticipate the pitch. We've seen it so many times where the hitters have not proven they can hit it, but they go to another pitch.
Well, until they hit it, you never know. But if it's down the way it's going, you can anticipate a ground ball, which is what you want anyway. You know, you can't really assume that ball's going to get hit out of the ballpark because it's got too much life to it. So as long as you got a good feel for a pitch, then you might as well stay with it until the hitters make you change.
Almost hit him. And he stays with the breaking ball. Pulled to deep third. Long throw for Alex. Off the bag. Out of Billy's glove. Seattle takes the lead. And Gutierrez tagged by Butler, but first base umpire Mike Esterbrook said he didn't cross the line.
Well, Alex does a great job here getting to this ball and really setting himself. And he really put a good throw there. Billy got off the bag in time to make the tag, but the ball was knocked out of his glove.
No, the only reason that ball comes out of the glove is because he tagged the runner, so that close to the inning being over. Suzuki scores his third run tonight. And they're loaded up with 2 outs for Jojima. There's that sinker. Now that at bat with Gutierrez, of course, hindsight being what it is, but you think maybe that battle could have been over a lot sooner.
Well, they threw the first 2 right by him, so I agree, Ryan. You have to go back and see if you got something going, and they went to the slider for 3 pitches, and then they came back, and he was able to force it down the line.
1 ball, 1 strike. By the way, Gutierrez gets an infield single and an RBI. Jojima's grounded out twice and walked. One ball, 2 strikes. Well, we saw the same thing from Hochevar at points earlier tonight. Unhittable pitches. Didn't stay with the pitch. And now a little bit of that from Jamie Wright in the 6th inning.
Well, a lot of good pitchers will tell you that you got to be able to know when you got a guy beat. And if you got him beat, then you stay with it. It's not about trying to trick him or trying to strike him out. It's about getting him to hit the ball and hitting the ball that you want him to hit. And those are pitches that J.B. Wright definitely has a feel for is that good sinker is turning over good, is going down good, and it's getting underneath the bat. But you throw two right by him, and all of a sudden it goes to something else, and you don't really have to do that.
That's why there's 7 defenders out there. Two balls, 2 strikes.
No, Brian's got to work extra hard here because Jamie's slider is either hanging in the side, inside to the hitter, or it's one of those ones that he's got to really be ready to slide to his right and try to block. So he did a real good job of keeping that from being a wild pitch.
Well, there's the pitch. Producing the ugliest swing we've seen this month, but Seattle scores 2 to take the lead.
We go to the bottom of the 6th, and the Royals are trailing 6-5, and this is our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Susan Taylor from North Kansas City, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run this inning, Susan, you will win $300. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Susan, you will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
Miguel Olivo, Alex Gordon, Unievsky Betancourt against Sean Kelly, who took over in the 5th inning. Royals scoring their 5 runs against Ryan Roland Smith in 4 innings. Suzuki going to run out of room, and it's 1-1 to Olivo. Third time tonight, Olivo has led off the inning. Singled and scored leading off in the 2nd, and gets a base hit between Beltre and Wilson here in the 6th.
If Miguel could just keep the ball down and in to himself all year, he'd hit the ball solid all the time. He does a real good job of tracking this ball down and getting his hands through and getting that base hit to left field.
Two-hit game for Alex. A bunt single, which resulted in a throwing error by Adrian Beltre in the 2nd inning and allowed Olivo to score from first. And Alex singled to right and scored in the 4th. The Royals continuing to work with Alex having him keep both hands on the bat with his swing, and had a pretty good rip there. Alex has also had a good night on defense.
Well, that play he made, Ryan barehanded play that we thought was a good routine single, but he did a good job of coming in and filling it with one hand, and then just surprise. That was a surprise bunt. That was great. That was, to me, that was a play of the night right there. That kind of made my night seeing him just turn around and do something totally different that nobody expected. In the fourth inning, first pitch, he just got the head out on this fastball and pulled it in the hole for a base hit to right field. So he's having a good night tonight. Yeah, I'm one of those guys to say, why do you want to keep dying the same death all the time? You know, you gotta, if something's not working, you gotta try to change something. And that's all, like we talk about all the time. This game is about adjusting. The faster you do it, the more success you're going to have. And I just think what Alex did really just helps him as a hitter. But it's going to be one of those things that he's got to sort of incorporate as part of his game, and not just do it once a month or something like that. Just always have them expect him to do it if they play deep at third base.
Betancourt in the second inning failed to move a runner at second base with nobody out, but made up for it in the fourth with a triple, an RBI, and a run scored. Ball one from Sean Kelly. Betancourt with a two-hit game yesterday in St. Pete, including his first home run as a Royal. You know, getting back to Joel's report when Betancourt batted in the fourth inning about what Adrian Beltre had to say about him, and you know, it's one thing if a player that's commenting on another player has a chip on his shoulder or a mouth full of sour grapes, but this is a guy who's close friends with Yuniesky Betancourt and critiquing the way he's gone about his game and pointing out that, you know, the ability is there. It's just how hard you're going to work at it. And at some point, a major league player is going to realize how hard you have to work to stay at this level. But for their sake, you just hope that that doesn't come too late.
And that's true. And I think the one statement he made was that, you know, maybe he didn't work hard enough to get to the major leagues. And once he got there, he was rewarded handsomely for being there. I kind of go back to Angel Baroa when he came up and he was the Rookie of the Year. Got a 4-year contract, and then the work ethic is what suffers. So you got to really make yourself work even harder to stay on top of your game. And I think that's where Adrian Beltre is talking about is how hard is he willing to work? Was he still working as hard to be a good player? Was he going out early to work on his bunting, work on his defense, work on his hitting? These are all the things that show up. And this in the fourth inning, and then he's got a lot of power to right center field. He just needs to be more consistent in what he does all the time. And if he was, you could probably see a little bit more of this.
Hit hard again to right center field. Suzuki won't get it. Extra bases again for Betancourt. Olivo coming around third base, and the game is tied again.
And this is what we talk about, Ryan, just having a good approach, just taking the same approach. Don't try to think about pulling the ball as you did pretty much the whole road trip, but go back to what fits your swing. And that fits his swing to drive the ball the other way, and you can see the success he can have if he stays with this approach every day.
So he's tripled in a run, he's doubled in a run. And both times he's tied the game. De Jesus taking ball one. David has driven in a run and scored a run. Another thing the Royals have been working on with Betancourt is just having a plan when you come to the plate. He is so naturally gifted that he's been able to get by just see ball, hit ball, and not necessarily waiting for one pitch, sitting on one pitch. And Royals trying to get him to go up there. So when he digs in, he's looking for a pitch. He has an idea of what pitch is best for his swing and just try and be patient and wait for that pitch.
And that was one of the frustrations that Seattle had with him, was they wanted him to take a few more pitches, try to work deeper counts, try to work himself into a better hitting situation. And these are the things that he fought. And that's why at some point teams say, look, we just need to make a change. Maybe he can go somewhere else, and maybe what we're trying to get out of him, maybe by making this move and going to another team, he realizes that, you know, I still have some abilities. I just have to start listening and doing what the game is telling me to do, which is work hard, pay attention to what's going on, and just go out there and just listen to your hitting coach, listen to your fielding coach, just listen to everybody that can help you be a better player. But it all starts inside. It all starts with how bad does he want it.
Former Royal Miguel Batista starting to warm up now as Sean Kelly has given up 2 hits and a run in the 6th. And he's fallen behind De Jesus 3-0. Three and one. Three balls, 2 strikes. Jesus jumping back. Across the belt. And hit hard into center field. Gutierrez there to grab it. And Betancourt will move up to third base. Hey fans, the Royals and Farmers Insurance will salute uniform heroes, including military, police, and fire personnel this weekend. Uniform heroes can get half-price tickets for all 3 games at the stadium box office. We'll salute the military on Saturday and honor police and firefighters on Sunday. Royals trying to take the lead for the 3rd time tonight, and they almost took it there as Kelly was trying to throw it off the screen, saved by Jojima. Lundqvist walked and scored in the 1st inning, and since then he has grounded out to short and struck out swinging. 2-0. And now Don Wakamatsu is going to go out to the mound, and he's going to take one of the trainers with him. So as they talk it over, we remind you that tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Kansas City Royals. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and description to this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Sean Kelly saying whatever Don Wakamatsu needed to hear, because after a short discussion, manager and trainer back to the dugout. This is going to be one of those nights where both managers are going to have to empty the closet as far as the bullpens go, and just hoping that someone can go maybe 2 1/3, 2 2/3 innings. Ron Mayhay is warming up. The Royals have already used 2 relievers after Hochevar went 5. That's a strike on Bloomquist, 2-1. Three balls, 1 strike. Willie not only played for the Mariners, but he grew up rooting for the Mariners from Port Orchard, Washington, which is on the other side of the Puget Sound from Seattle. Drafted by the Mariners out of high school, instead went to Arizona State, and then drafted out of college. It's that to right center. Suzuki coming over, and that's the inning. But at the end of 6, we are tied at 6. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Well, if you're watching at home tonight, you might want to grab a blanket, because we're a long way away from one of these two teams claiming tonight's game. Jack Wilson leads off and hits one off of Jamie Wright's glove, and Alex throws it away. There was no play there. Bounce off the net, however, and Billy just can't pick it up. Royals almost got a break. So it's a bad throw by Alex, but even a perfect throw doesn't get Jack Wilson. The throw just puts him at second base. That'll be a base hit and an error.
Right, this is just what you call trying to do too much. Here, Jamie goes off his glove hand and then off his bare hand, and Alex really should have just taken that ball and just held on to it. It really had no play at all.
So with nobody out in the 7th inning, John Gibbons has to call on his 3rd relief pitcher of the night. goes over to Ron Mayhay. Game 2 is tomorrow. It's our next broadcast in high definition, brought to you by Time Warner Cable, where HD is free with digital cable. 7:10 first pitch. Royals live at 6:30. Kyle Davies and his return to the Royals from AAA, and left-hander Luke French, who got his first big league win against the Royals, starts for Seattle. Royals are ready for a bunt with a runner at second, nobody out. And Saunders, who's an outstanding bunter, lays it down to the third base side, and Mayhay throws late. Saunders with a drag bunt to the first base side in the 6th inning. Was trying to lay down a sacrifice, but it was so good he ends up with a hit and his 3rd hit of the game. So 1st and 3rd and nobody out.
Well, Mayhay does a good job getting off the bag to get this ball. He's a good athlete, but you kind of get, he really, when he got turned around, he just didn't let the ball go. You know, it just almost like he just looked at this play like it's going to be a lot easier than he thought. So he just didn't really get that good throw over there, just sort of floated it over there.
And now Ichiro Suzuki, who has scored 3 times. Homer to open the game, his 30th leadoff home run of his career, and his 3rd against the Royals. Singled and scored in the 3rd, walked and scored in the 6th. Now Brian Pena going through signals with the defense just in case the Mariners try a double steal here. Brian letting the defense know where he's going to throw the ball. Oh, 2.
You know, Saunders being such a big guy, he has a soft touch on that bunt. I mean, whether it be dragging the bunt to first, whether it just be a nice little soft bunt to advance a runner. I mean, he just has such a great touch for it.
And what's wrong with laying one down every now and then if the defense invites you to do so?
I mean, anytime you can make a bunt like that and you got a pitcher on the mound with Mayhay's athletic ability and still beat it that easily at first base, that's just great effort on your part as a hitter.
Still 0-2. Now that the juice is out of the game, I can see where teams are not going to rely so much on home runs, but can a guy get a bunt down? Can he move a runner? What's his batting average? And not getting so enamored with how many home runs he hits. Suzuki strikes out. So 1st and 3rd, 1 away, and Russell Branyan coming up. Remember, you can stay connected to the game on your computer. If you subscribe to MLB.tv, you'll get 100 out-of-market games per week. Catch games you miss on demand. And a premium subscription allows you to pause, fast forward, and rewind live games. Get details about MLB.tv at Royals.com. That was Rustin Dodd, who writes for MLB.com, sharing the Royals' responsibilities with Dick Cagle. Read some of his stories on the Royals website. Branyan 1 for 3, doubled home a run in the 6th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, this is just Ron Mayhay right here, just giving him his best fastball right here, Ryan. They just right on the inside corner and just threw it right by him. You know, Brandon probably sees so many breaking balls that he probably has that in his mind a lot of times, especially first pitch.
through the right side with Cayaspo guarding the right side. So there's a big hole in between Cayaspo and second base, and Seattle has taken the lead. Cayaspo pulled way over to the right. He's at his normal spot. That might be a ground ball and perhaps a double play.
Yeah, he's really playing for the pull right here. But if you're going to throw fastballs away at 92, you probably want to be more straight up. If you're going to throw breaking balls, then you want to play more to pull.
And now the Royals will use their fourth reliever tonight. Robinson Tejeda comes on to face Lopez. Luke Ochaver only able to go 5 innings tonight with 112 pitches, which means a busy night for the bullpen, and so far a tough night for the bullpen. John Bale gave up 2 runs without getting an out in the 6th. Jamie Wright 1 inning, but he's allowed a run. And now Ron Mayhay giving up 2 hits in a third of an inning, leaves behind Saunders and Branyan on the bases, and Robinson Tejeda gets Jose Lopez. Lopez hit a 2-run double back in the 3rd inning. He's 1 for 4. One ball, 1 strike. So getting himself to slow down a little bit. Tejeda almost throwing the first one off the screen with a fastball and coming back with a good slider. Off the end of the bat, shallow left. Saunders tagging and holding. So 2 down, and now Ken Griffey Jr.
Well, that's pretty good base running right there, Ryan. Saunders comes down the line fairly aggressive. If David doesn't get that throw in aggressively, he could continue in. He's probably just coming down the line, watch, see what kind of throw you make, and then he stops and goes back to third base.
Mariners working on their 4th lead tonight. They've led 1-0, 4-3. As Griffey takes strike 1. That was earlier in the game, and then 2 runs in the 6th inning to take a 6-5 lead. The Royals tied in the bottom of the 6th, and now the Mariners leading 7-6. Griffey late on a fastball, and who wouldn't be at 98 miles an hour? 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, there was no doubt about the arms in the Royals bullpen and about the power of those arms and their ability to get strikeouts and pop-ups, but it's all been about command and pitch selection. And I think that's been the biggest culprit of why the bullpen has had such struggles.
Late swing struck him out. The Mariners take the lead in the 7th inning. Mariners lead by 1, bottom of the 7th inning here in Kansas City and around the American League, presented by Panera Bread. Baltimore has beaten Detroit. Minnesota has defeated Cleveland, so the Twins are 2.5 back in the Central. Yankees over Toronto. They had a half-game lead over Boston coming in tonight. And Boston trying to stay a half game back as they're tied in extra innings at Tampa Bay. Chicago has defeated Los Angeles, so the White Sox 1 game back in the Central, and Oakland is in front of Texas. Texas 4.5 back in the West. Miguel Batista taking over for Seattle. Played briefly with the Royals. It'll be Butler, Tien, and Callaspo in the bottom of the 7th. It's 0-2 to Billy, who has singled, walked, and doubled in a run. Driven to deep right, and Suzuki to the track, 1 down. The Royals and Mariners were tied for last in the American League in runs scored before tonight's game, and now they've combined for 13 runs, 21 hits, in less than 7 innings. Tehan 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. And Batista running it up there at 96. Batista played in 14 games for the Royals back in 2000. Also pitched in 18 games at AAA Omaha. But he's been in the big leagues with Pittsburgh, Florida, the Cubs, the Expos, the Royals, the Diamondbacks, the Blue Jays, the Diamondbacks again, and now Seattle. As Tehan lines out, the Royals have had 2 good swings against Batista, but right into the Mariners defense. The Royals, the state of Missouri, and Fox Sports Kansas City have joined together to encourage young people not to smoke, because once you start, it's hard to stop. Strike out tobacco so we can all breathe. Call the Missouri Tobacco Quit line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Callaspo with a sac fly in the first inning. Since then, he's grounded into a fielder's choice and flied out 0 for 2. One and one. At some point, we're going to pay the price. I don't know when. But we have had an incredibly mild summer. Maybe we'll get 42 feet of snow this winter. I'm not sure, but we've had a very small amount of days this year. That's typical of Kansas City, where you walk out of your house and you think you're walking into an oven. And tonight is no exception.
The nights have been beautiful, that's for sure. August, you never know about August. They used to say that's the dog days, but so far it's been pretty mild.
I mean, tonight feels like early mid-September. To the line in right field. And for the first time tonight, a relief pitcher has come out of the pen and had a 1-2-3 inning. Front office, Senior Director of Publicity. Here's tonight's game summary brought to you by Verizon Wireless. Mariners scoring in the first inning on Ichiro Suzuki's home run. The Mariners have had 4 different leads tonight. Yuniesky Betancourt against his former team has driven in a run with a triple and a double. And Luke Hochshaver handed over the lead when he departed, but 5 innings tonight and gave up 4 runs. He will not get the victory. Beltre, Gutierrez, and Jojima in the 8th inning. And Beltre to straightaway left field. DeJesus' first step was back, but he recovers quickly, and Beltre, back from the DL tonight, is 0 for 5. And 3 strikeouts in there. So 1 pitch, 1 out. Tejeda's retired the 3 batters he's faced, including the final 2 outs of the 7th inning. And here's Gutierrez. 2 hits. He has driven in 1 of the 7 Seattle runs. Oh and 1. No balls, 2 strikes. Gutierrez has had a nice year in Seattle, where he's played now in 97 of the 106 games after being part of a rotation of outfielders when he was in Cleveland. And he's given the Mariners a .294 average with 12 home runs. He's an outstanding defensive outfielder. Tejeda dropping down, 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Indians were in pretty good shape defensively when they had Grady Sizemore in center and Franklin Gutierrez in right field.
Well, 2 pretty good outfielders there. Guys cover a lot of ground.
Two balls, 2 strikes. John Gibbons, since Luke Hochevar's 5 innings, has used John Bale, Jamie Wright, Ron Mahay, and now Tejeda. Still 2-2. We just faced a team on the last road trip that has really benefited from some players from the Mariners organization, the Baltimore Orioles, who sent Eric Bedard to Seattle a couple of off seasons ago. They got George Sherrill, who's since been traded to the Dodgers, Adam Jones, Chris Tillman, who made his major league debut against the Royals, and a couple of minor leaguers, as Gutierrez is down on strikes. Second strikeout for Tejeda, and 2 down in the 8th inning. So as good as Gutierrez is, I'm sure there's a few Mariners that wish they still had Adam Jones.
Well, Adam Jones is a fun player to watch play. I mean, in terms of his athletic ability in center field, his good arm, power, speed. I mean, he just, like you say, he's just one of those guys that just blossoming right in front of your face, and it's one of those trades that turned out real good for Baltimore.
No balls, 2 strikes on Jojima, who's 0 for 3 with a walk. Eric Bedard, who the Mariners got from the Orioles, and at the time Bedard, one of the best left-hand pitchers in the American League. He's on the disabled list right now for the 2nd time this year. Jojima fights off a fastball and drops it out into left field for his first hit. And the first base runner against Robinson Tejeda. Well, everything you knew about fantasy football is about to change. Introducing the all-new Fox Fantasy Football with more customizable features and new ways to play. Log on to foxsports.com on MSN and join the next generation of fantasy football. A 2-hit game for Jack Wilson, including a run scored. In fact, his run scored in the 7th inning, the difference in the game. Russell Branyan singling him home, as the Mariners have led 4 different times tonight. The Royals have led twice. One ball, one strike. That was a fastball swing on a changeup.
You throw a 98, then you throw a changeup at 84.
It's one of those swings from the old Bugs Bunny cartoon where he swings so hard and misses that he just screws himself into the ground. And then throws a fastball at 95 at the knees over the outside corner. Go get him.
That's a mixed bag for you.
Man.
But what he did now is just go back to the changeup again. He's kind of fallen in love with that pitch, but his fastball is really good tonight.
Jojima left a little early, and the Royals are going to get him. So caught stealing. 1-3-4. Mariners scoreless in the 8th. Ben's E-Class attention assist to the game, and paying attention when Kenji Jojima took off early and gets an assist. As Callaspo tagged him out, I said 1-3-4. It's actually just 1-4 on the clock stealing in the top of the 8th inning. So Tejeda with an inning and 2/3 scoreless. And the Mariners will send right-hander Mark Lowe to the mound after Miguel Batista had an effective 1-2-3 bottom of the 7th inning. This is Seattle's 3rd reliever. Royals have used 4 from the bullpen. Payne 0 for 3 so far. 1 ball, 1 strike. And thinking about laying one down. The Royals facing Mark Lowe, who is out of the University of Texas Arlington, which is also the alma mater of Royals third base coach Dave Owen and Royals manager Trey Hillman, who is still with his family in Texas, should be back tomorrow. 3 balls, 1 strike. Seattle taking Mark Lowe in the 5th round of 2004 out of UT Arlington. 2006 Mariners minor league pitcher of the year. Three and 2. I think that was more wishful thinking than anything from Brian Pena.
Well, he's trying to sell it, but it's not quite good enough for Tim McClellan.
Hit hard to center field. It's going to bounce in front of Gutierrez. So the Royals have the tying run on with nobody out. And now Brian Pena will come out as Ryan Friel will run for him. So Pena finishes the game 1 for 4. And now Miguel Olivo with 2 hits tonight, 2 runs scored, both of those hits leading off the inning. In fact, this is the first time tonight he has not led off an inning. Friel running, and the Royals trying a hit and run, and it's bounced to Beltre. So Friel moves up to second base. Olivo getting the job done by making contact. Runner at second, 1 out.
Well, that was one of those situations where Friel goes into the game. He's either going to be asked to steal his base run, or you're going to, because you very rarely ask Miguel Olivo to bunt, so the hit and run was an appropriate play right there.
2-hit game for Alex. He had been 0 for his last 11 coming in tonight, but a bunt single in the 2nd inning, and then singled and scored in the 4th. Coming off a road trip where he was just 4 for 21, including 0 for 11 at Tampa Bay. What do we see? He's 0 for 34 in his career at Tropicana Field.
32 or 34.
Wow.
Yeah, we're in that area.
Not sure if Alex is aware of that number, but guys know where they hit well and where they don't hit well. He might not know the exact number.
You better save some of those bunts next time we go around there. Because something to break the ice and get him going the right direction.
Two and 1. 99 on that last fastball. You know, you and I were talking before the game about Edison Volquez, the great pitcher for the Reds, who's going to have Tommy John surgery, or has had Tommy John surgery. Here's another guy who's had a couple of surgeries on his right elbow. He hasn't had the Tommy John surgery, but twice they've gone in there to fix his elbow, and he's throwing in the upper 90s. It used to be anytime you went under the knife, I mean, that was a career-threatening medical procedure.
Well, you didn't gain speed, you lost speed. I mean, he's around. I mean, this is as hard as he wants to throw right here. I mean, you don't need to throw any harder than what he's throwing right here. It just matters just having command of your fastball.
Soria, if the Royals can take the lead here in the 8th inning, will be on for the 9th. Long run for Beltre, and it hits the railing. So 3 and 2 on Gordon. The surgery that Mark Lowe had, the first one, I haven't heard this one, drilling some holes in his elbow to regenerate cartilage. and then had a follow-up surgery to remove some scar tissue. And he's throwing 99. So Alex is down 2 away in the 8th inning.
That kind of sounds more like a ligament transplant. They're drilling holes right there. So you're going to gain that kind of speed. Unbelievable.
Yuniesky Bettencourt in his first game against the Seattle Mariners. He has had an RBI triple and an RBI double. And both of those hits tie the game, and another chance here with a base hit to tie the game. Tied it for the Royals in the 4th. They eventually took the lead in that inning on DeJesus' sac fly and tied the game in the 6th. Ryan Friel running for Brian Pena, who opened the inning with a single. One ball, one strike. So Bettencourt, who's only hitting .232, might be starting to feel it a little bit at the plate, because if you go back to yesterday, a 2-hit game, including his first home run, and now a triple and a double tonight. And lays off that pitch, 2-1.
Well, his approach tonight has just been excellent. I mean, just being able to take the ball up out over the plate and drive it the other way, and really just laying off that pitch right there. He just at road trip, it just seemed up until the last game in Tampa Bay, just saying he was in that pull mode. Everything was, he was just playing pepper with the shortstop.
Out in front of the mound. So we go to the 9th inning with Seattle still in front by 1. When the crew will be out there for Boulevard Royals Live. Joel, Jamie split with interviews from the field, highlights and analysis, brought to you by Boulevard Brewing Company, Kansas City's beer. Robinson Tejeda's pitched an inning and 2/3 scoreless, now throwing to John Buck after Brian Pena was removed for a pinch runner in the bottom of the 8th. It'll be Jack Wilson, Michael Saunders, and Ichiro Suzuki in the 9th. Pulled to Alex, who stumbles, but Recovers and throws him out. Jack Wilson 2 for 5. Mariners closer is David Aardsma, who has saved 25 this year. Another hard-throwing right-hander. The Royals have already seen Mark Lowe's hitting 99 on the radar gun in the bottom of the 8th. Miguel Batista in the mid-90s. Sean Kelly in the mid-90s. 0-1 to Saunders, who's had a good night. 3 hits, a couple of runs scored. And among the 3 hits, 2 bunt hits. You know, Frank, here's a young guy that's being creative. Here's a young guy who figures, you know, I'm getting this chance in the big leagues. And prior to tonight, he was hitting 148. He was 0 for his last 9, but just trying to find a way, at least for now, until he gets settled in with big league pitching, just find a way to get on base and do something.
Well, he's doing the things that really helps his average, and anytime you can put yourself in a sacrifice bunt situation, you can keep your average where it's at. Plus, you can help yourself if you get a base hit, but you also are sacrificing for your ball club. And when you look at all the sacrifice bunts and flies that Seattle has, it's probably part of their game. And I think you learn that not in the big leagues, but you learn it in AAA, you learn it in AA. And if that's the way the team is going to approach, the organization is going to approach playing this game, getting back to what you said about just sitting back and waiting on the long ball, you don't see that much anymore. So to be able to manufacture runs without the base hit, it's got to become part of some of these teams' games so they can elevate themselves in the standings.
Jesus back in left field. Saunders is out. So he's 3 for 5, 2 down in the 9th inning.
Robbie Tejeda's done a good job, Ryan, just coming in. Look at this changeup. I mean, this ball just really just goes down and away. And Saunders hits right on the end of the bat and a lazy fly ball to left field. But he's done an outstanding job with the time he's been in there tonight.
A 2-hit game for Ichiro Suzuki and 3 runs scored. He opened the game with a home run off the right field foul pole against Luke Hochevar. Hochevar went 5, gave up 4 runs, 7 hits. He also struck out 8. John Bale gave up 2 runs. Jamie Wright gave up a run. Ron Mayhay a 3rd scoreless, and now Robinson Tejeda has gone 2 1/3. Royals in the bottom of the 9th will have the top of the order. DeJesus, Bloomquist, and Butler against David Aardsma. 0-2. One ball, 2 strikes. I don't remember much from that Seattle series in early May, because that was what now 3 months ago, but I do remember how the game ended. The second game, Ichiro Suzuki coming up with the bases loaded against Joakim Soria. Remember that? Soria got him on a ground ball to end the game, and Tejeda strikes him out, points to the sky, and he's pitched 2 2/3 scoreless. Mariners have scored 3 of their runs against the Royals bullpen, and now David Ardsma going for his 26th save, and he has some pretty frightening numbers. He has pitched in 49 in the 3rd innings. He has struck out 58. He's given up 1 home run. A very good ERA, and the league is hitting 163 against him. So that's 49 in the 3rd innings, 28 hits. It'll be DeJesus, Bloomquist, and Butler. Ball 1 on David as Ardsma runs it up there at 94 miles an hour.
Well, we're all in a situation where they need base runners, and David's got to make sure that he runs his count as far as he can run it, and hopefully get a free pass and bring the winning run to the plate.
2-0 from Ardsma. Mariners got 4 innings from Ryan Roland Smith. He gave up 5. One of the runs was unearned. Sean Kelly gave up a run in 2 innings, and Batista pitched the 7th. Mark Lowe pitched the 8th. 2 balls, 1 strike. David has faced his pitcher once and has a single against him. A lot of things have to go wrong when you lose 101 games like Seattle did last year, and with a payroll of over $100 million. And right at the top of the list is problems in the bullpen, as the Mariners had 31 blown saves and really no consistency from the closer's role. They had 9 pitchers who had at least 1 save last year. 3 balls, 2 strikes on DeJesus. This year it's been David Ardsma who has 25 of the team's 33 saves.
Well, that team was full of what they call cardiac closers. That's those guys really keep you on the edge of your seat. They come in and don't throw strikes. They walk guys, and I mean 31 blown saves. I mean that's just too many.
Still 3-2. Ardsma is a former first-round pick of the Giants back in 2003 out of Rice University. He was part of the 2003 Rice National Championship team that beat Stanford. And then he was traded 3 times between 05 and 08. And now might be in Seattle for a while. Struck him out, and David went after ball 4, and he knew it. Willie Bloomquist was scheduled to hit. Royals are going to send up a pinch hitter, but we can still ask you which ex-Mariner has helped the Royals the most. 59% saying Willie Bloomquist. Gil Mesh at 31%, Jose Guillen at 8. We haven't seen a whole lot of Unievsky Betancourt yet. So thanks for voting. But Willie Bloomquist will not face David Ardsma. Instead, it'll be Mike Jacobs. And as John Gibbons, who is acting manager for Trey Hillman, who's back with his family in Texas, is going to take his chances that Jacobs might get a hold of one here and tie the game.
Yeah, David really chased a bad ball down 3-2, but when you got a guy throwing 97, 98, you geared your swing, and he throws that ball downhill. It looks good coming out of the hand, but when you commit to it, it's almost on the ground. So you just really hate to see a hitter chase a ball that far out of the strike zone on 3-2 count.
Off of Ardsma's glove, Lopez backs him up, throws low, Branyan blocks it, but no out. So the tying run is on, and it won't be Mike Jacobs, as Mitch Maier is going to run for him.
Well, this is when a pitcher can help himself right here. He probably felt he had this ball all the way, but he went off into his glove, and Jacobs holds it down to first base to beat the throw.
It's going to go as an infield single for Mike Jacobs. So he didn't get the home run, but he's on base. So Maier running for him, and now Billy Butler with a 2-hit game and an RBI. 0-1. Billy has faced David Aardsma twice, and he's 1 for 2 with a double. That pitch crossed up Jojima. It's 1-1.
Well, a double right here will score Mitch Maier.
And that pitch stays up. It's 2-1. Royals have been down 1-0. Had a 3-1 lead at the end of 2. Mariners led 4-3. Royals taking the lead 5-4 in the 4th. Mariners led 6-5 in the top of the 6th. Royals tied it in the bottom of the 6th. Seattle taking the lead in the 7th. Billy broke his bat. It's going to be a long run for Branyan and Lopez. And Butler is still alive. He's going to need a new bat. Mitch Maier running over at first base, coming off a good road trip. 385 average in Baltimore and Tampa Bay with 3 RBIs, representing the tying run in the bottom of the 9th. Three balls, 2 strikes.
Now, this is always an interesting situation. Down by a run is 3-2. If you run the runner, they're always a risk of a line drive double play and you're out of the game. So it'll be interesting to see what John Gibbons does here.
Maier is running, and Billy hits it in the air to center. Gutierrez for the second out. So now it comes down to Aardsma and Martin. AARDSMA. David Aardsma is the first name in the baseball encyclopedia, in front of Hank Aaron. How many guys can say that? I'm in front of Hank Aaron. It begins with me and then Hank Aaron. Half swing, teeing down, no balls and 1 strike. Mark has faced Aardsma twice. He's 0 for 2. And tonight at the plate, 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts.
Yeah, that was a pretty defensive swing there. That was almost a half swing, and he really didn't get through that swing at all.
One and one. Seattle trying to end a 6-game losing streak here at Kauffman Stadium. They've lost 10 of their last 12 at Kauffman Stadium. Over the mound and into center field. Maier will go first to third. So the tying run's at third, and the winning run is at first.
Yeah, Mark 10 gets what they call a CNI base hit here. This ball just hit perfectly over the mound and over second base. They just get a good jump out, a good bounce out in front of the plate, over Archman's head, and it's right up the middle into center field.
Carrasco facing David Archman for the first time. '97 outside, ball one. Sac fly in the first inning. And now timeout is called. Adrian Beltre is going to go over and talk to Jack Wilson on the left side. They're going to go over if the Royals try a double steal here. Remember, Wilson is new to the Mariners, coming over during the trading deadline. So if the Royals try a double steal, I know that Wilson knows the play, knows where the ball is going to go, and make sure that the Mariners are all on the same page.
Well, the way the defense is playing up the middle, Ryan, looks like if Mark 10 wants to go, they're just going to give it to him. They're not going to try to take a chance on throwing the ball away here. They're going to make the Royals earn it the hard way.
3 balls, no strikes. Three and one. .295 overall with 321 with runners in scoring position. There's the tying run at third base. And Carrasco takes ball 4, and they're loaded up for John Buck. Well, in the most clutch of situation, 2 outs with runners in scoring position, John Buck is hitting .462. He had the game-winning RBI for the Royals a week ago tonight in Baltimore, as the Royals won Game 2 against the Orioles in 11 innings. He has faced David Archman twice. He has a single, and Archman has struck him out. Joe Jamont wants to go out and talk to Archman. John Buck has a walk-off hit here at Kauffman Stadium. That was in another 11-inning game with his base hit to left.
Well, that was a big game for the Royals right there. That was in the midst of that when they were playing great. They came up and got that big base hit.
It was the same homestand that included a 2-game sweep against Seattle. After the first pitch, slicing, long run Suzuki, and sliding up against the barrier wall. He caught it! Unbelievable! Ichiro Suzuki had the barrier wall and the tarp to contend with.
And Ryan, when you see a play like this, this is a guy that wants this ball right here. He's gonna end this game right here. He gets over there, he knows where the wall's at, and he makes a great play.
Wow. So the Mariners take Game 1 as the Royals leave the bases loaded, and the game ends on a foul out.